So we're having the term mirar in Espanol, which means to look or to spectate. That's where you're getting the term respect. It means to look again, ultimately. With the first form personality, it's lining up with looking again at the next sibling in line, which respect would be a substitute for love, yet the word is showing itself to look again. So mirror also, so a reflection. So read to do again, and flect. Flect is a type of bending. It's referring to the bending of light or the curvature of light, like this curvature of this mirar or this mirror. And in Español, it's espejo. And esperar is to wait. And you start to see that many terms in our language is going to a type of reflection. You have even the L and the R are interchangeable, so that would be refract or refraction. And you have an inflection, and the term infect is most probably, actually surely, it's inflect, because that would be a syncope, meaning it's an omission of a letter or a sound from a term. So it's fitting in with all of what we're knowing. So this is a type of reflection, and some may recognize this as a type of diamond, or these are all cut, these are types of materials, and usually crystals and things like this can be made in different materials, such as from the event, crystals come from bricks and that material. There's many ways to make different materials. As you can see, this is being an allegory for reality, because I'm reflecting on all of these topics, such as when you reflect on things. You can think about many terms inside of our language that refer to refraction or reflecting and looking and seeing. So a looking glass, and that's the term lock key. A lock and a key, locking glass. So we're having this blue mirror, and we're having these devices called black mirrors. Black is really white, or pale in color, but any hue can be pale in color. Like this wall is painted with a pale color. And same thing with the term block mirror. We say it's dark or sable, yet any hue can be dark or sable. So that's when you're really getting down to it, seeing there's different ways in how this goes into the spectrum, because respect is a spectrum, so meaning there's many hues. So the term flect is going to the term bend, which is actually going to the term bow or an arc, which are you're getting the term for rainbow or rotten bow or brainbow, which is we have a full spectrum to ourselves, an ongoing spectrum. So arco, a type of arc, a type of bending of light, is arco iris, the iris of your eye, and also it goes into other things as well. Yet this is the name for rainbow or brainbow in Español. And as you can see, Español and esposa and esperar, you see the root word pattern going here. And with the interchangeability of letters and vowels, you'll start to see how it is a part of this framework of the language. And we're going to be getting into the bending of light very soon, which soon is the term for sun, and sinking or sinking up, because a sinking is a type of reflection. There's a sameness going on, and so since mirar means to look or to lock, you have the term lock eyes. So you have the term lock key, and if you add the E at the end of it, you get the term eye. So lock eyes. So when you're locking eyes with something, you're miraring it. To look, to lock. So we're going to see here.
Let me show you
An example.
This is the world's best invisibility shield I've ever seen.
Clocking.
Notice how I can
Cloaking.
have a person in front of me that's completely blocked by the shield. But if I walk behind them, you can still see the background. In fact, you can even see me behind it. I've done a few different videos on how to make things invisible, but I think this one knocks them out of the park. So how is this working? How can you completely see me behind this, but you can't see her in the middle here? So what is this magic invisibility shield made of? It's actually made of just mirrors. So what you can't see is that there's another set of mirrors right here. But I've placed these mirrors in a specific way to bend the light around the area we want to be invisible. And this is the cloaking area between here and here. So if I stand in here, I'm no longer visible. First of all, to get this to work, you have to have light rays coming straight into the mirror, which means they have to be very far away from the mirror. So the person viewing it, or in this case the camera, has to be very far away. So if you set the mirrors up at right angles like this, you can see that all of the light beams will completely miss the object at this triangle in the center here. But they will end up in the same spot they would have hit if the mirrors weren't there. So we're cloaking this small volume by bending the light around it. But one thing to notice is that because the light got bent around it, it took a slightly longer path than it would have had if the mirrors weren't right there. And the further apart your two sets of mirrors are, the longer path it has to take. This makes objects behind the cloaking device look slightly smaller than they should. It helps to be really far away from the cloaking device because you don't notice the slight difference in size. So if you try this yourself, remember that you should space your two sets of mirrors close together so that we can minimize the distance between the two mirrors so that the light's not traveling really far to get to the back. Also, make sure you're viewing it from really far away, and your mirrors have to be exactly lined up so that each mirror is parallel with its corresponding mirror on the other side. And if you do it just right, you can get things to disappear. And thanks for watching another episode of the Action Lab. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet, and we'll see you next time.